Righty, we should be live. We're going to be here for live severe weather coverage as we do have a significant severe weather outbreak that is currently underway across portions of the upper Midwest. Today we're talking about the threats of intense tornadoes, destructive winds, and very large hail. We're likely going to be here for at least a couple hours, but I figure why not just jump on a little bit on the early side as we do have a couple of supercells that have fired in Iowa along an outflow boundary, I believe, that have produced very strong winds and large hail. So, kind of getting started with the with the stream, we're gonna take a look at the storm that's coming up towards the Iowa Falls, Hampton, and Rowan area. Again, this is in north central Iowa. Currently warned for 70-mile-an-hour winds and 1-inch hail. So quarter-size hail and 70-mile-an-hour winds. Get indoors and away from windows immediately. As well as a storm off to its east, which is also producing quarter-size hail and 70-mile-an-hour winds. These are both considerable severe thunderstorm warnings. But places out ahead of this line: Waterloo, Hudson, Wellsburg, Grundy Center, Eldora, and Hubbard. Those are the areas that need to be on the lookout for these storms coming up. But we also have more storms firing out in eastern Iowa that are yet to kind of get going here. So we'll have to watch these as well. It looks like they've just popped up here in the past. Actually, no, they've been with us for a while. So again, this little cluster of storms will continue to move farther to the south and east. But the main threat for today is what's going to be happening up here into portions of Wisconsin. Now, if I were to draw on our map here, you know what? Let's just pull up our SPC Outlook. So we're going to go to our Outlooks and... one second. Let's go to SPC. So there we go. So this is our day one outlook. It's a very large level 3 out of 5 enhanced risk for severe weather extending all the way from the UP of Michigan down to portions of Iowa and Illinois. It is driven by a 10% SIG 1 tornado threat, which means we do have a strong tornado threat today, but overall across the board it is a 10% chance. And it does extend all the way from Iron River down through all of northern and central Wisconsin back into northeast Iowa. So there's kind of two different like targets, if you will, for this for today for the severe weather event. But the wind threat very, very large. We have decate values that are over 1200 joules per kilogram, which basically means that our downdraft and our downdraft kind of energy, if you will, if that makes sense, is going to be pretty significant, meaning that our downdrafts, it's pretty literally, you can take it pretty literally, and it's going to mean the same thing. The downdrafts are going to be very strong with these storms, and our hail threat is 15%. We do have very steep lapse rates, so that is going to contribute to a large hail threat. Our updrafts are going to be quite vigorous. In fact, we can actually go back to our radar here. We'll look at what our echo tops are looking like. Let's do that right now. Here we go. Oh, wow, yeah, so our echo tops are very impressive here. We're already getting up to 63,000 feet topped on this one, and on the one west of it, we're at 66,000 feet. So we have, massive severe thunderstorms here. We are, my goodness, these are huge. So we are well underway with that threat. And then we can look at this cell off to the east, see if it's been doing anything. Yeah, our echo tops on this one are starting to rise significantly. In fact, with that new lightning production near Prairie du Chien, I probably butchered that name. We do have a echo top reading of 50,000 feet. So quite a bit going on out here into portions of Iowa. We're still waiting convection in Wisconsin, but we will see. So I'm going to pull up Stream Chat. If anybody has any questions about their location, feel free to let me know. Again, don't be scared. That's kind of the reason why I go live. If you guys have any questions or just tuning in to see what the deal is here. But I'm going to go ahead and pull up Stream Chat just so we can kind of interact with one another. What's up, Diane? What's up, Dave? It's good to see you guys. So, yeah, that's kind of the current situation we've got on our hands. But if you guys haven't already, please do hit that like and subscribe button. In fact, I believe we are one subscriber away from 1.71k. So that would be greatly appreciated if you guys could do that. But it looks like storms are initiating. Oh my goodness. Our northern little target here is initiating up towards Iron River. These storms likely aren't going to have a huge tornado potential unless you're talking about if we get more storms to kind of fill in here and develop here, that's where we're looking at a more significant tornado threat. I think anywhere north of here, we're looking at more of a large hail and damaging wind threat for sure. So, that is certainly something we need to put into consideration. Uh, I'm gonna turn on Epic Pen here. There we go. Should be able to draw. There we go. Okay. So yeah, it's these storms that we're watching for now, at least for our Wisconsin threat, and obviously to the UP of Michigan. These are going to slowly but surely drift southeastward. So we're talking about the Powers, Iron Mountain, Escanaba, I think that's how you pronounce it, and areas off to the east of there. So that's kind of the current, overall situation as of right now. Just get rid of that. Okay. But let me know where you guys are tuning in from. Again, it's good to see everyone. You pronounced right. Okay. What's up, Patty Randolph? How's Louisville, Kentucky doing? Weather tomorrow? How we're gonna get Esped so be your weather. I don't know who you meant there. You probably meant like bad weather or something. Um, but yeah, we will look at Louisville, Kentucky. So if we go to our, let's go outlooks. We're gonna go to our day one convective outlook. Again, this is what we're looking at today. Now tomorrow we do have a enhanced risk for severe weather, and if you're in the Louisville area, again, you're probably gonna be in that slight risk for severe weather. Again, that includes the entire city of Louisville. However, off to your east, we have a very expansive enhanced risk for severe weather that extends all the way from northern Kentucky back into portions of New Jersey, kind of the New York City metro area, parts of Pennsylvania. So big day ahead tomorrow. We're going to probably have to break down tomorrow on this stream as well. But if we take a look at the latest 18Z look at the 18Z HRRR. Again, hopefully you guys can see this all right. Here, we can do that. Again, we're going to have the remnants of what today is going to be bringing. It's going to be diving southeastward, and eventually, as we get into tomorrow morning, the environment is going to start to kind of rebuild, if you will, with the daytime heating. Once the sun comes out, you're going to start to get a lot of storms to pop up pretty much in the southern Ohio and northern Kentucky area, and these are going to slowly but surely push off to the south and east. These are likely going to be able to produce damaging winds. So as of the latest 18Z HRRR, the city of Louisville is going to be relatively missed by storms. Now, I do think that what we can expect is big-time severe storms to fire just off to your east. I think that's why we have that enhanced risk right there. I mean, it literally lines up perfectly. However, you're going to get shower and storm development potentially on top of the city or maybe just south of it later in the day. So that's what I would watch out for. So I would say if you're north and west of the city, you're probably good. I mean, I would obviously be weather aware and everything. If you're east of the city, you got to watch out. I mean, look at these updraft helicity tracks showing up here. If we were to look at our rotation tracks, I mean, that's pretty vigorous right there. That is pretty noticeable, pretty significant. So if you're south of Louisville or definitely off to the east in any way, shape, or form, you need to stay weather aware and prepared. However, if you are to the west or north of Louisville, again, it might not be the same situation. And again, if we kind of zoom out and take a look at the full northeast quadrant of the United States, if we will, again, we can see a massive line of severe thunderstorms that's going to be stretching from portions of northern New England back into the mid-Atlantic. And we've kind of got two kind of setups here. We got the more supercellular setup a little bit further to the south, and then we got that more linear setup to the north. So there's different kind of pieces of the puzzle that are going to be fitting together. But I think we also need to significantly watch out for and just continue to watch our southern New England threat for damaging winds and tornadoes. I believe we just did get a new tornado watch, so I'm going to go ahead to that. Sorry about my Twitter account showing up here. But we did get a new tornado watch. This is going out for the UP of Michigan as well as Northeast Michigan or Northeast Wisconsin. So they have most likely issued this in response to seeing the storms initiating. We'll go back to that. Let's head back to the radar here. And we'll head back up to these. Okay, so these are the storms that basically just got that watch issued. We have, I would say, 4 or 5 good-looking blips that are popping up here. But if we go back to the watch, it's saying that a few tornadoes are likely, scattered hail up to tennis ball size possible, and scattered gusts up to 75 miles per hour likely. So that is a pretty, interesting watch. It looks like we are going to see, obviously, that very large hail and damaging wind threat verify. I think hail, I guess they're saying hail is going to be the main hazard up here to the north, likely because of those very steep lapse rates. However, I do think we could still see destructive wind gusts, and they are saying a few tornadoes are likely. It is a tornado watch, so interesting to note. But we haven't gotten a tornado watch yet for our central and southern Wisconsin threat, so I'm very intrigued to see what that ends up looking like if they do go ahead and issue it. I think it's almost guaranteed they have to. I mean, they pretty much have to, but if we look at our tornado watch for Iowa, we haven't looked at this yet. It does include Des Moines back through Decorah and Dubuque. We are talking about a few tornadoes likely, but scattered hail up to tennis ball size likely, or excuse me, possible, and scattered gusts up to 75 miles per hour likely. So those are the kind of specs on our watches that we have at the moment. And again, we're just gonna have to play the waiting game for these cells up here to the north, see what they want to do. But we kind of have an idea of what our cells to the south are doing. These are looking very clustery to me. Okay, we're not really seeing a huge tornado threat to start. However, that is a very interesting look near. Oh, look at that, Vincent. There's a Vincent, Iowa. Look at that, guys. Sorry. That's actually kind of cool. Anyways, we got this little feature that's hanging out on the eastern end of the storm. I believe this is an outflow boundary that is draped across central Iowa. Let's look at velocities here. Okay, no rotation present, but I would actually consider watching this as it interacts with that outflow boundary. It almost looks like we could have some spin trying to develop. I know you're probably gonna scream at me like, said something wrong or that's not possible, but look at this, guys. We even have a hook echo developing, so we do have some inflow and our outflow from our outflow boundary kind of putting things together here. So it is something to watch. Look at that, guys. That's actually a really cool look on that storm. So, this on the storm near Eagle Grove, Vincent, and Woolstock in Iowa. It doesn't appear to be rotating. In fact, actually, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we do actually have some. Yeah, it looks like we have some very broad and very weak rotation, but it is actually spinning. So we do have rotation just to the west of Eagle Grove. Next scan, it kind of falls apart, but that is interesting to note is that with the storm latching onto the outflow boundary, it's actually managing to pop off some of that rotation. I mean, look at that presentation, that supercell presentation. That is really cool. Hey, thank you, Alan, for the $50 donation. I cannot thank you enough, Alan. You are actually insane. Alan is like GOAT. I mean, you support me and Davis so much. Again, I know I say it every time, but I mean, this is the reason. Like, the reason I'm doing this is because you and Andrew and everyone else that watches my streams, you guys are kind of supporting me in a way where I can just keep going and have the motivation to keep going. So I seriously appreciate that. But spam those W Allens in the chat for the $50 donation. That's going to be going to a second monitor because you'll notice I'm not showing my face on this stream. I decided that with my new setup, I recently got my new PC. I don't know if you guys were watching, but I did kind of put the PC fun thing in the bottom scrolling text. Well, we sure hit that goal. We crushed it, actually, and I was able to get a whole new setup. So you'll probably notice streams are a lot smoother. I'm sure my audio sounds great. I mean, look at this, guys. Weather front, not glitchy at all, so I can actually, my PC can run it. And so far, everything is just running beautifully with the whole setup. So I hope you guys like it and everything. But again, I'm very, very thankful for y'all's support. And once I can afford a second monitor, I'll be able to, toggle on different settings and stuff in OBS. Because right now, I'm only looking at one monitor. So I'm going to have a second screen for that. But anyways, thank you, Alan, for the donation. Bad storms. I saw that. Thank you. There's a big gap too. Yep. Hey, what's up, Michael 808A? Good to see you. What's up, Anthony Lewis? All good. Keep grinding. Appreciate that. And I certainly will keep grinding. Radar coverage is gonna get better, thankfully. I just noticed it is pretty terrible out here in north central Iowa near Ackley. Again, this is scanning pretty high up in the atmosphere, but you'll notice that it's gonna get um a lot better as we kind of go forward in time here. We got 7 people in this stream. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Let's make sure we hit the like and subscribe button. I mean, we have most of our chasers bailing on the Wisconsin threat and actually going down to Iowa. So I'm very interested to see what kind of happens with these. Not seeing much activity with this kind of pocket of precipitation and storms in northeast Iowa. Um, but these off to the west are starting to grow upscale, which is pretty interesting to me. Again, we do have a tornado watch, so we'll have to see if that kind of translates here. But that was a really cool little feature we noticed near Eagle Grove and Vincent. I mean, look at that, guys. Literally latched right onto the outflow boundary and was actually starting to rotate very weakly. But again, interesting to note with that. Another thing I want to mention is that we are about to have Tropical Storm Bertha. I don't know if you guys watched last night's stream. I did a little stream with Davis, kind of discussing all of our weather. But Tropical Storm Bertha is hours away from developing. We're actually expecting it to develop into Tropical Storm Bertha as soon as 2 a.m. tonight. So tomorrow morning at 2 a.m. we could have Tropical Storm Bertha. She is expected to make a landfall in southeast Louisiana in the New Orleans area, likely as a very weak tropical storm. Max wind gusts are expected to be at around 52 miles per hour, so interesting to note there. Actually, once it's offshore, we could have wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour, so interesting to see. But the new cone of uncertainty does have this going past Louisiana and eventually into Texas as a tropical depression. However, some models have brought this a little bit further south. They keep it through Louisiana, but then they take it more to the southwest through the Gulf. So we're going to have to see if that does kind of play out. And if it does, that's where we would have a more stronger scenario. So I'm not trying to fearmonger or anything, but I seriously would not rule out that happening. However, I would say the overall chances of seeing, a hurricane or, let alone a major hurricane, they are significantly decreasing. I will say that our just overall kind of certainty on, or I should say confidence on the track, it has increased quite a bit. But we just did get a new severe thunderstorm warning. This is out for Rhinebeck, Hudson, Grundy Center, Eldora, Union, Conrad, Gladbrook, Marshalltown, Cloutier, Traer, and Dysart in Iowa, as well as LaPorte City, Hudson, and Orange. This is for the south side of Cedar Falls and Waterloo. They reissued the same warning for the same tag, 70-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-size hail. That's going to be in effect for the next hour and 2 minutes. So pretty much just in effect for the next hour. Get indoors and away from windows. And, oh, there we go. We got a new tornado warning. Our first tornado warning of the day. So the event officially begins, but tornado warning up for portions of Iowa, including Applington, Parkersburg, Wellsburg, Holland, Grundy Center, Morrison, Rhinebeck, and Lincoln. This is for radar indicator rotation. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Applington, or 14 miles northwest of Grundy Center, moving southeast at 50 miles per hour. Radar indicator rotation. Let's take a look at that. I believe I noticed. Yeah, oh wow, okay, so we have some pretty significant broad rotation over Applington right now. This is what we're kind of focusing in on. This is going to continue to move to the southeast, but we're going to have to watch this for a possible imminent tornado threat. Again, we did notice this a little bit earlier, at least I did. I wasn't so sure if this was just contamination, but it looks like this has been broadly rotating for a couple of frames. Again, it kind of got its act together once it moved through the Hampton and Geneva area. I think you might say Geneva or Geneva, I have no idea. And then really in the past couple scans, it's tightened up. Wow, that's probably contamination. I'm like almost for certain that is, because you do not see a velocity jump like that. That is obvious contamination. But somewhere in there, we do actually have a broad circulation developing. Unfortunately, I don't believe we have any chasers on it, but we'll see. I'm gonna change my pen color. I don't like that it's pink right now. I'd rather it be like black, just so that you guys can see it a little bit better. We gotta check in on chat here. Man, you guys are talking today. That's great. Vincent, I can't find her donation link. Oh, I will put it in chat. 1 second. Here, I'm gonna do the Be Right Back stream. Again, there we go. I apologize for having to show the OBS layout and everything on the stream. That's why I'm saving up for a new monitor, because I can do that without having to pull it up on stream and everything. So, I'm going to put it into the chat real quick. Let's see. 1 second, y'all. Got it. But I seriously appreciate the support, guys. You guys are going above and beyond. And we did end up hitting 1.71k subscribers. So W's in the chat for the new subscriber goal reached. I really appreciate that. Let's see if we can go to the next step and reach the big 1.71 or 1.72k. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pin that message. That is the donation link. Again, donations are greatly appreciated, however, are not required. Alright, there we go. But, yeah, new tornado warning going out for this area. Let's look at John White here just for a second. Wow, big time shelf cloud on that storm. Look at that, guys. That is really cool structure. Again, not trying to steal their footage. Just wanted to pull that up for a split second just to see what they're looking at out there. Again, we do have John McKinney. A lot of you guys are familiar with him because he's done quite a few stream reads for us. John and I are great friends. He's out there in Stevens Point, Michigan, awaiting convection. In fact, it might be happening right now. Look at this. Near Worcester and Hawkins. If these showers are what I think they are doing, I think that could be the beginning of our Michigan threat. And my goodness, our storms are now exploding in the UP. This is happening fast here. We already have full-blown supercells developing in the UP of Michigan and extreme northern Wisconsin. Those are the ones that just got that, or prompted that tornado watch. That is not good. But again, we still are awaiting technically convective initiation in kind of the central and western part of Wisconsin. We'll see if we get any storms out here. Could get storms out here. There's a lot of different places we could get storms, but they're all going to be drifting to the southeast here. So Michigan, you're up next. Re-pull up stream chat. Hopefully it's not broken. Mr. Storm, do you think that enhanced can shift a bit east by tomorrow? I absolutely would agree with you on that. Or I would say I think it definitely could. I think, in fact, they will. We talked about we talked about tomorrow a little bit earlier. We're going to get to that back in a second. But yeah, let's go to tomorrow. So tomorrow, again, we're looking at a big-time squall line kind of event in New England. We're going to switch this to the 18Z. Just so you guys can get a better look at this. But the full kind of outlook for New England, we're going to have another round of morning convection. So just like the last severe weather setup, we did have morning convection. However, look how far ahead this batch is compared to where our actual storms are developing. That is a pretty big difference there. So To me, it looks like the morning convection, as long as it moves out by, maybe an hour or two after 12 o'clock afternoon, then the atmosphere is going to be able to rebuild. But that moves through, and then you get this big squall line to develop after some supercells develop out there into portions of Pennsylvania, and really they just slide off to the east here, and it's looking pretty bad for New England and New York City, the Hudson Valley, New Jersey. Again, this is a big time looking squall line that's likely going to be producing pretty damaging winds. So that is certainly something that we need to consider keeping an eye on. But for those of you that are wondering what the convective outlook for tomorrow is, this is the latest SPC outlook. Again, we do have that slight risk, including pretty much all of the areas that are expected to see at least some storms, but that enhanced risk is also out there for portions of the kind of breadbasket region out here in portions of the mid-Atlantic. Our tornado threat, 5%, wind threat, 45%, our hail threat, it's 15%. So I kind of went through that fast because that is, I think, the third time we've broken that down in today's stream. I will promise you guys, I think I'm going to release a long form video breaking down that whole threat tonight. So if you do want to see me go more in depth on what you can expect, make sure you have notifications turned on, as I will be posting that tonight. Thank you so much, Diane, for the $25 PayPal donation. Oh my goodness, you guys are insane. You're awesome, Vincent. Looking forward to meeting you and your family next time you... Sorry, I have to pull up the message. But seriously, thank you so much, Diane. Alright, let's see. Meeting you and your family next time you come to Nebraska. I'm buying everyone root beer floats. Oh my goodness, thank you so much, Diane. That's so awesome. But yeah, for sure, I would totally stop by if we're ever out there. I seriously appreciate that, though. Spam the W Allens and W Dianes in the chat for the combined $75 in donations. Again, that means we're about $40 away from the monitor fund, so I don't have to freaking do that every single second. But anyways, thank you so much, guys. So a thing I want to notice is that you can tell my goodness, you can tell our rotation is far away from radar, and it's actually been tightening on velocities. So that does concern me because that does mean in the mid to upper levels, we do have tightening rotation. Usually, if you're this far away from radar, it looks very broad, but the fact that we're this far away and it is looking like it's tightening means that at the ground level, we likely have a pretty mature circulation. And we could have something trying to get going near New Hartford. I'm watching that area as well, but this is the place to be for a tornado. I also think a moderate risk could be tomorrow too. It's very interesting what they're gonna do with that. I would bet no. I would say no, but I guess I can't rule it out. I think it's more appropriate that they keep the enhanced. However, I think the full coverage of storms definitely could support moderate in ways. So, I mean, you could say that, but again, I wouldn't say that for certain. If they do go ahead and push a moderate out, which I guess they could, then you can kind of keep me on that. But yeah. We don't have any wind reports yet from this area. It's kind of interesting to see what this is doing. I'm thinking that this is probably producing wind gusts of 70 to 80 miles an hour. I mean, you've got pretty strong outflow evident on radar. Again, this is your storm-relevant winds, and this is your tornadic circulation that's developing here, as we are getting a little bit of an inflow notch to develop. Same thing near New Hartford. Again, this is all outflow, and then that's the inflow surge that we're getting in those two areas. Otherwise, again, it's all just straight outflow winds. Also, let me know if you guys like the filled in warning boxes. I know it's a lot easier to tell what areas are under which warnings. I will say, whenever you get like different warnings stacked up on each other, it's very, very confusing. So Let me know in chat if you guys like that or not. Again, there's a lot of things you can do with Weatherfront. That's why I love Weatherfront so much, is because it's just amazing. So if you guys want to see something different with the map that's on your screen, then please do let me know. But we did just get a new severe thunderstorm warning for Cedar Falls, Dyke, Stout, Parkersburg, New Hartford, Janesville, Denver, Waverly, Shell Rock, Clarksville, Allison, Plainfield, and Tripoli in Iowa. This is for 70-mile-an-hour winds and 1-inch hail, so that's going to be quarter-size hail. That does include the north side of Waterloo, so they just rewarned that little part of the storm there. Oh my goodness, Alan, with the $50 donation, my goodness. Uh, there we go. We just hit the monitor fund, so now we're going to have two monitors. I mean, Alan, you are insane. I really appreciate it. I mean, again, I'm running out of ways to thank you, but you really do not understand how much that helps me. Again, it makes streams a lot better. It makes streams a lot easier. So spam the W Allens in the chat. You guys are crazy. I mean, you guys are like the greatest community ever. That made my day. Hoping that chat's not disabled. It could just be because everyone's on the quiet side, but that's all right. I also think a monitor. Okay, so that's a old message. But yeah, spam those W Allens in the chat. That is amazing. Yeah, still a very tight circulation near Grundy Center. Let's look at John again. Looks like he's got some scud, or maybe that's just the edge of an outflow, or excuse me, the edge of a shelf cloud. But he's about to be under that circulation again. It's not looking as strong. At this moment, it looks like. Oh, okay. So I'm not gonna say this for certain, but there is a chance we did have a brief tornado, or do have a tornado just north of Holland, Iowa. Considering how far away we are looking from radar and how tight that circulation is, I would almost bet that we have a very imminent tornado, or at least a tornado trying to touch down. This is going to be near 190th Street, approaching 215th Street in Holland and Grady Center. That's not ideal, so need to watch out for that. Let's go back to the north here. We actually just did get our first severe thunderstorm warning of the day in the UP of Michigan. This is for Marquette, Humboldt, Michigan, and Harvey. I hope I pronounced that right. 60-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-size hail expected out for the next hour and 3 minutes. It's for this little cell that just popped up here. Very lopsided, so you can already tell it's taking too much inflow to produce a tornado. This is the common look of an early supercell. I mean, almost all of them start out looking like this. You can see they're very tilted. They don't have any like hook echo or anything. They're just very kind of inflowy, and that's what's going on here. So no tornado threat imminent with this cell, but there's a chance that if it gets its act together once it approaches Marquette, it could end up developing a tornado threat. But for the immediate future, we're not considered about much with that one cell. Any chance of these storms holding together and making it into the Dixon, Illinois area tonight? So, I believe you're near. You said you're near Davenport. I think you're like right near here, right? I'm not gonna, you know, dox you or anything. Let's, we can, Dixon, Illinois. Oh, okay. So you're a little bit farther to the east there. Okay, so you're in northern Illinois. We're gonna go over to let's go to the, HRRR. We'll use the 18Z for instance, and, I mean, if we look here, the future radar for this line, it looks like Dixon is definitely going to at least have the potential to be impacted probably around the 10-11 o'clock Eastern time, so that would be 9-10 o'clock Central. So in a couple hours, if these storms do continue on their current trajectory, and especially if they cluster up in the Dubuque area, there is a chance we do end up seeing the kind of eastern half or portion impact the Dixon area, you're probably looking at a relatively large hail and damaging wind threat, but we cannot rule out seeing an embedded tornado or two. I will say the worst of the storms are definitely going to stay off to your west, but definitely be weather aware, Alan. Make sure you have multiple ways to receive warnings. We can look at our updraft velocity tracks, and again, you can see that most of the rotation tracks do stay off to your west throughout the rest of this evening, and they are a little bit less significant than what's showing up here north and west of you. So again, stay on standby, make sure you have multiple ways to receive warnings. However, just know that you're most likely not going to receive the worst of the storms, as they will likely be off to your west. So that's kind of the full breakdown of what you can expect. But again, we're still awaiting convection, I guess, in north central Wisconsin, unless we already have it. Um Here, let's look at our yeah, I mean, we still haven't really got it here. Again, the HRRR still wants storms to go right through here, and we do have these little showers that are popping up here. I'm not sure if that's convection, not sure if these are, like, kind of failing blips or whatever, but there's a chance we do have some form of storms developing. If that's true, we are on our way to a significant severe weather outbreak. We'll be prepared. Thanks. No problem, Alan. Back to our storm near Grady Center. Again, this is still a very concerning pocket of rotation near Morrison. We're going to still watch this as it approaches the Rainbeck area. It's still very, very tight and pretty strong, too. So, honestly, I would, again, make sure you're taking shelter immediately. That's something you should always do in a tornado warning, but this one, to me, looks pretty concerning. Again, no CC drops, so no debris signature, but definitely something that you need to pay attention to significantly. Again, it is still radar indicated, and we do not have any reports here. I know I have reports on. I'm just not seeing any. Maybe there's quite literally 0 reports in the U.S. right now, which is kind of funny. I mean, it says I have alerts on, or excuse me, reports. We'll see. But Alan, the part of the storm I was talking about for you at least is currently developing the plate in the Plateville and Dubuque area. So this is the kind of storm that you're looking at, and it's gonna continue to move towards you over the next couple of hours. So again, assuming it continues on its current trajectory, I think the HRRR is definitely gonna verify where you probably get nipped by the eastern kind of end of it. Um, but again, we'll see. But big time cluster of warnings out here with still a possible tornado near Grundy Center. I keep saying Grady. Again, latest velocity scan. This is only 2 minutes old. Again, kind of the same over the past couple of minutes. If anything, it's gone a little bit more broad, so that's a good sign. But I would not be shocked at all if we did at some point have a brief tornado north of Grundy Center and Morrison. But the circulation is coming right into Morrison and eventually into Rainbeck. So that's the current kind of location of our circulation here. Once again, if anybody has any questions about their location, please do feel free to let me know. Again, put it into the chat down below. Um, so yeah, but make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure you have notifications turned on because, like I said, we're likely going to be posting, or I'm going to be posting a video tonight on tomorrow's big time severe weather outbreak. Again, it's a multi-day severe weather outbreak. This is not something that usually happens in July. I mean, literally late July. It's almost August, and we're talking about intense tornadoes being possible. So it's kind of crazy. We did actually get a new severe thunderstorm warning for Iron River, Mesa, and Crystal Falls. Uh, I don't know if this is. Let's see if this is rotating. It could be broadly rotating. We'll have to see. But we have a supercell near Crystal Falls, Mansfield, Channing, and Iron River that is currently warned for 60-mile-an-hour winds and 1-inch hail. Again, it's that kind of blip that we're watching for. Again, that's got the very lopsided look, so that's why I would not be worried at all about a tornado threat right now. But it's something that we need to keep an eye on. Again, we'll have to see if this is legit on the next scan. Uh, but but yeah. We did get a new severe thunderstorm warning for Independence, Brandon, Vinton, Cedar Point, Atkins, Cedar Rapids, Belle Plaine, and Dysart in Iowa. So 70-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-size hail expected. They're just doing the same thing where they're pushing out more warnings as the storm advances. But I'm sure there's a heck of a shelf cloud on our Grundy Center storm. Look how big and bulgy that bow echo is looking like. Our tornado warning remains. Oops. What happened to my weather front? I don't know what happened there. Sorry about that. But our tornado warning remains radar indicated. Let's take a look at our echo tops. Yeah, that is ridiculous, guys. 60,000 feet. And oh my goodness, yeah, our Webster City storm is up to 60,000 feet as well. So this line here, cluster, continues to explode in intensity in Iowa. Let's go ahead and look at the Storm Prediction Center. I want to see if they have a new mesoskill discussion. Okay, they do. Surface-based development becoming apparent on visible satellite. We expected that their most probable peak intensity is actually at 120 to 145 miles per hour for tornadoes. So intense tornadoes, they're saying, with this cluster here. Interesting, but max wind threat 65 to 80 miles per hour and max hail size 1.5 to 2.5 inches in diameter. Still awaiting development in north central Wisconsin. It looks like these or showers I was talking about looks like they are potentially the start of our severe weather event up there, but we've certainly got going in the UP of Michigan. Still watching the storm near Iron River. We also do have a couple special marine warnings north of Marquette, as we do have that other cluster of storms moving up there, so just want to point that out. But yeah, our dew points in this region are ridiculous. This is probably reading too much, but we have a 84-degree dew point in the KAEL METAR, which is near Albert Lee, which is ridiculous. Finally, my storm reports decide to load in. Now we can look at the history of what this storm has done. So, quite a bit of damaging wind reports. However, we do have a 80-mile-per-hour wind report, relayed by emergency manager, time estimated by radar. Several trees down, along with roof damage, time estimated by radar. That is in the Chapin, Iowa area. So, this storm does have a history of producing 80-mile-an-hour winds. That is not good. I will be prepared tomorrow for these storms and film the video. These winds can break the tree branch across the street from my window. Would not be surprised if a 7. Would not be surprised if wind speed from a severe thunderstorm was 70 miles per hour. Yeah, I mean, I would not rule out seeing wind gusts of up to 75 miles an hour tomorrow in the northeast. That is certainly a possibility. We'll see. Um, Sorry about that. We got a new severe thunderstorm warning for Webster City, Kamar, and Blairsburg, Iowa. 60-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-size hail. I don't know why they just randomly issued this warning. I mean, they overlaid it with a 70-mile-an-hour severe thunderstorm warning, but that's going to be for the western edge of the line here in Iowa. It is still latched onto the outflow boundary, so we're going to see if that can stretch out the vorticity. It is broadly rotating, maybe. Let's see. Maybe. It doesn't look likely, but there's a chance. That's probably contamination. Yeah, that is probably contamination. But if anyone has any questions about their location, feel free to let me know. Again, today's going to be a day where we really need to make sure everyone is aware of what's going on, especially if you're in the path of these storms. Our rotation near Rainbeck has significantly weakened and is becoming more broad, so that all just means that our tornado threat is significantly decreasing. But there is still some broad rotation in this area near Traer. So again, you should still be in your shelter, but if you're in Rainbeck, Morrison, or especially Grundy Center, you should be completely fine. You guys can venture out of your shelter. Again, if you're out in that area, don't expect to see like devastating damage or anything. Maybe a couple trees down for sure, but other than that, again, probably not much. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and let everyone know on Twitter that we are live, just so everyone's aware of it. Again, we kind of went live a little on the early side here, so not a surprise that our stream is going to be a little bit on the slow side with viewership, but that's alright. We do have 6 watching, so I appreciate all of you for tuning in. Um, again, interested to see what how our storms react to the environment at play. We did have quite a bit of morning convection that rolled through, so we're interested to see if enough instability has kind of been regained in the area, and if that's going to be enough to support our storms. But again, a big day ahead for sure. As far as potential is concerned. So I'm just gonna put the stream into our Discord server. Uh, okay. Sorry about that. Let's go back down to our storms in Iowa. Again, I don't think we have a major update on these. We're still not seeing a ton of development on the east side of the storm. However, we still do have these non-severe storms in the Dubuque area. The HRRR was definitely showing these, at least making these look a lot more intense than what's actually happening on the radar. But these definitely are worth paying attention to, again, for a possible tornado threat down the line. I think, for the most part, though, damaging winds are definitely going to be the biggest kind of threat, at least for those storms. But I did not realize I was just muted. I am very sorry. If anyone caught that, I am very sorry. In fact, oh, I still have the be right back screen. Oh my goodness. All right, sorry about that, guys. I did not even realize that I was muted. I don't know how long that was, but basically what I was saying is that our storms have started to initiate, confirmed by all three radars out here in the north central kind of portion of Wisconsin. John McKinney's out here in Merrill. He's giving us a early look at what these storms are looking like. Again, you can't really see it much, and oh wow, he's looking at the radar up here into the UP of Michigan, where we do actually have these two tornadic supercells. We have this one near Channing. It just got a new tornado warning. So new tornado warning up for areas just to the east of Channing, Michigan. This is taking on a really nasty look. In fact, we do have some of that evident rotation on radar, but that is on reflectivity, that presentation pretty off the charts here. We've got quite a bit of inflow developing a notch there. You can see our RFD cut on the backside. Again, that is a very concerning look there, and this is still a very immature supercell, meaning that it's still got time to grow and become a little bit less lopsided there. It's that storm that came up in literally minutes. Look at that. We didn't even have a storm like 10 scans ago, and now we've got a full-blown tornadic supercell. That's just ridiculous. That is insane. Again, that is the kind of environment that's at play today. But we still have that tornado warning near Iron River. That one, okay, that one's also in the UP of Michigan. But that one is definitely something that we need to continue to watch very closely. If we head down to the south here, I was talking about this storm near Webster City. This is while I was muted. We actually just got a new tornado warning on it, so that would have been a great call out. But look at that reflectivity presentation, guys. That is another very dangerous look. This is becoming a very kind of tornadic supercell, if that makes sense. And this still is taking quite a bit of inflow, so it's going to take a lot of RFD cut to kind of develop a tornado with this, but that is certainly the look that you're kind of looking for, if that makes sense. But strong rotation developing. That is insane. Near Kamar, that is just ridiculous, guys. So we're up to 4 tornado warnings abruptly. Back up to the storming the UP of Michigan. Again, we're still tracking that rotation there. So, I mean, we'll see, but as of right now, again, these storms do still have time to grow and mature and all that. So, we will see. But technically, the storm is still attached to our outflow boundary. You can kind of see it up towards Fort Dodge and Badger. These storms have kind of initiated along the outflow boundary, so really cool stuff going on here. But that is actually what's probably driving our tornado potential with this. That is, wow, that's weird. I don't know if we have a velocity couplet handoff going on here or what, but we have kind of two areas of inflow developing. This is obviously the main notch, but it does like a full loop. But that's a very clear kind of inflow path, notch, whatever you want to call it, developing there. Oh, it's observed. Okay, so we have a tornado on the ground. Sorry, I did not realize that. But we have a tornado on the ground approaching Kamar, Iowa. If you're in Kamar, Iowa, you need to seek shelter immediately. Tornado in progress. My goodness. Don't believe that's a debris signature. I hope not. That would be pretty bad. But, we have a tornado in progress, approaching Kamar, Iowa. If you're in this area, you've got to seek shelter immediately. You've got to get underground or in the, lowest level of a sturdy building. An interior room, a closet, a bathroom. If you got time, go into the bathtub and grab like a mattress, a sturdy pair of shoes, a helmet, and maybe a flashlight. If you have time, throw the mattress on top of yourself, lay flat into the in the bathtub. Again, this is the best method if you don't have a basement or a storm cellar to survive a tornado. You got to get to a bathroom which probably doesn't have windows. You got to lay flat in the bathtub. You got to put something that's really soft to cushion whatever impacts you. To protect yourself from flying debris. Again, flying debris is the number one cause of death in a tornado, so you need to, again, take this very seriously. That is a storm we need to continue to watch. That is something we cannot give up on. Okay, thankfully we don't have any tornadoes in progress up here in the UP of Michigan. We still have to watch this storm that develops south of Marquette, north of Felch, and Channing. So we'll see what that kind of does. What's up, Lucy? But again, we need to continue to watch that southern storm. We're probably going to stay on that for the time being. Um, I'm interested to see if it tries to isolate itself from the MCS. It's probably not going to do that. But as it's kind of interacting with the outflow boundary, we need to continue to watch this tornado that we have in progress. Again, according to the warning, it is observed. We have law enforcement receiving multiple reports of a tornado. Okay, so multiple reports of a tornado here near Kamar. But again, that is your circulation, and it's unfortunately going right into likely the west side of town. Again, Kamar doesn't look that big of a town. It's definitely got a couple of main streets. It's got like Elm Street, Maple Street, but if you're looking for the exact location of the tornado, it's likely on Lockwood Avenue and 280th Street. So likely in that area. And again, it's going to be heading out towards. Let's see. It's pretty much going to be diving right towards the Neely Avenue, as well as Olson Avenue. Um, I'm not going to say it for certain, but if it's not contamination, there's some sort of spin, maybe developing near Blairsburg. Again, call me crazy, but it's been with us for a couple scans, I think. I think it's worth keeping an eye on, but this is what I'm talking about here. By any means, this is not a tornado threat or anything, but you could kind of see that little feature. I don't know what's causing that, what that is, but we've got some sort of like thing that's happening there that could be prompting some spin. Again, we'll see. The storm is still attached to the outflow boundary. That's the only thing that's keeping it alive. I'm pretty sure that as soon as the kind of storm detaches, or if that's even possible, it's probably going to fizzle its tornado potential. They probably just canceled the tornado warning. Okay, so it's going to expire. They're allowing the tornado warning to expire near Traer and Lincoln. That never really had a huge tornado potential, other than when it was very tight for a second, but then it became very broad. Look at that. We have 0 rotation now. This is when I think we could have had a brief tornado. You can see it got very tight and quite strong, actually, near Holland and Grundy Center, so we'll have to continue to watch that. But, yeah, tornado is still in progress near Kamar. No evident debris signature, however, reflectivity presentation still supports a pretty dangerous looking supercell, very potent supercell. We still have a tornado warning on our storm east of Channing, and the one on top of Iron River is still tornado warned as well. Again, I don't know how long I had the be right back thing on for. I think I completely forgot to turn it off. And I happened to be muted at the same time. Okay, it looks like it was only for like 3 minutes, I want to say. Oh, it was longer than that. Whatever. It was probably for like 4 minutes, but we were able to get to the important stuff without having to be muted and not at least you'd think I'd be able to at least show you guys what's happening on the radar, but I guess not. Um, yeah, still tornado in progress south of Webster City. Likely just went through the west side of Camrar. I hope I wasn't saying Kamar every single time, but if you're in Camrar, you should still remain in your shelter. Uh, yeah, latest velocity scan looks the same, honestly. So, this is still likely your area of rotation or circulation, I should probably say. Again, this is likely crossing Neely Avenue as we speak. So it's the road I was talking about earlier. It's gonna be heading down towards 320th Street, Lake Cario Drive, and Parker Avenue. This is gonna be coming up towards the Randall, Jewel, and Ellsworth area in Iowa. There's that tornado report. I'm interested. Multiple reports of funnel cloud with reports on the ground by the SBC. Also, the storm is now is also producing observed 2-inch hail. So we have a 2-inch hail falling out here in Iowa. But yeah, the overall presentation of the supercell has gotten much more significant. We look at our vertically integrated liquid signature. We are completely maxed out, per usual. South of Blairsburg, we actually have pretty large area here. If we measure this, uh, yeah. So this is covering a good 6 miles, and so we're likely talking about hail in excess of 1.5 inches in diameter for at least 6 miles. I mean, that is a pretty impressive hail core. The tornadic aspect of the storm, pretty impressive as well. How it was able to latch on that outflow boundary, and it was able to kind of stretch out that vorticity to produce a tornado. And there you go. Oh yeah, that is it's pretty wild actually. I would still not be shocked if we have a tornado in progress, and I'm not gonna say it now because we don't know that for certain, but I mean, I think it's got strong tornado potential. Again, not evident at all by radar, but we got a new tornado warning in one of the northernmost places. I guess that's not true. That's not true, but it is, I guess, in a way, one of the northernmost places you could possibly get a tornado warning. I don't know if this has happened yet this year, but we have a tornado warning on the U.S. Canada border, I guess you could say. Actually, no. I guess the U.S. Canada border is actually these little lines drawn out here, but so scratch that. But kind of just on the kind of edge of the UP of Michigan, new tornado warning for the north side of Marquette, Michigan. We are gonna have to switch to that radar site. We're gonna get a really good look at this, but they just warned this for radar indicator rotation and quarter size hail. If we look at our velocity signature, very close to radar again, but radar is supporting very broad rotation. Um, it's very interesting to see that. But if this is scanning very close to the ground, maybe a couple thousand feet up, if anything, but you've got very broad but tightening rotation here, and it's actually starting to strengthen a little bit too. So thankfully, this is likely not going to cause a huge threat to property or lives, as it is going to move off the coast. But if you are out here on a boat off the coast of kind of Marquette, we need to be watching out for water spouts. It looks like the storm's been trying to get its act together with rotation for quite a while. There we go. As soon as I say it, we get that special marine warning. Water spouts, wind gusts up to 50 miles, excuse me, 50 knots, and large hail. Water spouts can easily overturn boats and create locally hazardous seas. Small craft could be damaged in briefly higher winds and suddenly higher waves. Large hail could result in structural damage. So again, that's kind of an advisory for you guys, or this would be a warning for those of you that happen to be on a boat. Again, not a great time or day to be on a boat out there. Again, you really want to get to a safer spot. Still an incredibly dangerous looking supercell north of Felch, Michigan. Rotation is still strengthening and tightening as well, so that is a circulation we need to be on the lookout for. Let's go back south. 2-hour tornado near Webster. It is still on the ground. Not a surprise there, actually. But our circulation has likely kind of dipped to the south here. So this is probably crossing 320th Street and Parker Avenue, somewhere near there. looking at a reflectivity presentation, it's still got a nasty hook echo on it. I mean, that is wow. Just take a look at that, guys. That is ridiculous looking. I do have to run upstairs and grab a charger for my phone, so I'm gonna mute my audio. I'll be like probably 30 seconds. You guys can time me. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Um, Again, still a pretty concerning. I mean, I wouldn't say terrifying, but pretty freaking concerning look on our supercell near Ellsworth and Jewel. I'm out of breath because I had to run up the stairs to grab my charger. I could not find it. That is just to read stream chat though. Okay. But if anyone has any questions about their location, please do let me know. Also, let me know where you're tuning in from. There's a lot of things you guys could do in chat that would make things easier, just so that we could, so I could know, you know, what areas to cover specifically. Um, so our cells continue to try to fire out here into Wisconsin. We're gonna tune into John here. He's out there into the Merrill area. You can kind of see the little edge of our storm developing. Can't really see the updraft that well, but definitely some blue sky out there as well. Interesting to see that. Um, but that's what we've got going on up there. And then just our big time tornado threat in Iowa. I was going to say tornado, but it appears that our tornado has lifted near Ellsworth and Jewel. However, you need to stay in shelter, as we do have an extremely dangerous looking kind of notch developing on this storm. It has a history of producing a tornado near Webster City. Apparently it was visible from multiple views, so definitely not likely that it was on the weaker side, but it appears that the tornado is lifted. But if you aren't in shelter yet in Randall, Ellsworth, or Jewel, you should seek shelter immediately. Again, lowest floor of a sturdy building, or the most interior room without windows. Again, you want to avoid windows. Getting photos here of a huge shelf cloud in Rainbeck, Iowa. That is really cool. Yeah, just trying to look for any photos or videos of damage, the tornado, or anything. But again, the environment at play is very, very significant. Again, our hail core is actually starting to look more impressive. I don't know why. I keep clicking. There's like buttons on the side of my mouse that make me like completely like exit weatherfry. It's so weird. We do have a 70-mile-an-hour wind report north of Brandon, Iowa. From the SPC, that is now an observed tag. We did get a new severe thunderstorm warning for Grinnell, Iowa, Hartwick, Brooklyn, and Malcolm. 60-mile-an-hour winds, very small hail, and tornado possible tag on that. But we still have 2-inch observed hail out there in the Camrar area in Ellsworth. That's currently crossing Interstate 35. The tornadic part of the supercell is going to be crossing Interstate 35 too. But it's going to take a little bit more time as that drifts southeastward. Again, the hail core is pretty much on top of areas north of Ellsworth. That's where the hail core is at. So we will see. Still attached to the outflow boundary. Actually, no, it probably isn't anymore. So it's pretty much on its own now. But we do have a gust front that is emerging from, unless, yeah, it's likely a gust front emerging from our storms here in Iowa. So interesting to see that there. That is a big sign of very damaging winds. Still no tornado in progress up towards Marquette. However, we do have a couple tornado warnings up there. They just updated that one off to the west, still radar indicated there. Um, it's kind of hard to tell what our rotation is doing. It's pretty contaminated, but we can tell off reflectivity that this supercell is still trying to get its act together. Again, I was talking about how it still needs to mature, and it hasn't quite got there yet. There's John's feed. Still some blue sky out there, so still very um, unstable skies. If you haven't done so, please give the stream a like and subscribe. Yes, absolutely. Are you going to do a live video tomorrow? Um, well, I'll be doing a premiere if that's what you're talking about. A premiere is like the live stream video thing where I'll record a video and it premieres obviously, so it's kind of like a mini live stream. I'll probably do one of those tonight, if assuming I have time. And then tomorrow I might do live weather coverage. I don't really see a reason why I shouldn't, other than just because I'm gonna be looking at the storms around here. I could do a thing where I'm kind of live for whenever they get up to my doorstep, literally, which should give me plenty of time to cover everything. However, again, I tend to end things off when storms get like anywhere remotely close to where I live because I get very excited about storms, obviously. So I'm just preparing you guys for that. But yeah, I would say there's a good chance we will be live for severe weather coverage tomorrow. My goodness, dude, this cell is still chugging near Jewel and Ellsworth. But once again, W Allen's and W Diane's in the chat for the incredible donations. Again, we now are able to, or I'm now able to afford the new monitors, so that's gonna be great for our streams. But we now have a 70 DBZ, 71 DBZ Pixel 72 as well on a growing hail core near Radcliffe. So this is taking on very kind of supercellular features. In fact, it looks like this is gonna stay on its own here. You could kind of see a little splitting feature trying to get going. So that MCS is probably going to take off there, and we're going to have to see what the remainder of the supercell's life is going to be kind of producing threat-wise for the central Iowa kind of region. So very interesting storm behavior there. Did not quite expect that, but it fired off the outflow boundary. The kind of inflow notch was attached to it, and was able to put down what seems to be potentially a tornado on the stronger side. Again, I'm not saying that for certain because I don't know anything about it other than that it had multiple views and it looked pretty dangerous on radar. That's about it. That's the only thing that I know for certain. News for thunderstorm warning. This is for Story City, Roland, McAlsburg, Ziering, Garden City, and Radcliffe, Iowa for observed 2-inch hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds. So if you're in this area, you gotta get indoors and away from windows immediately. Um, I believe we got a new mesoscale discussion. We're gonna go back here. I don't think we got a watch yet for South Central Wisconsin. Okay, we did get an MD. So we did get a new mystical discussion. Corridor of enhanced severe wind potential. A few tornadoes and isolated occurrences of large hail are also possible. That's for the MCS here. We can actually time it out with the little feature here. But peak probable intensity still 120 to 145 on the tornadoes, 65 to 80 miles per hour on the wind, and our hail threat 1.5 to 2.5 inches in diameter. So interesting stuff. It looks like if things continue on the way they are kind of going now, we aren't gonna get any storms in southern Michigan or southern Wisconsin. That is a crazy statement for me to say, but I genuinely think that might be what happens. Is just that this entire chunk of Michigan I keep saying Michigan, Wisconsin just doesn't get any storms. I mean, that would be pretty crazy, and this probably has the best environment, but it's looking like that's the possibility that could unfold. To the north, not the same story. We've got a full-blown tornado watch. We've got several supercells that are going to get going, and are going to slide to the southeast here. They're initiating very slowly. So much slow that I do want to look at the environment soon. I just want to take a quick look at our storms up here in the Marquette area. We still have the supercell broadly rotating likely. Yeah, we still got that broad rotation. Still very damaging winds on the water here, but at this point, our tornado threat has diminished for the city of Marquette. You guys can get out of shelter if you're on the south or central kind of portion of Marquette. If you're north Marquette and like downtown, I would just remain in your shelter for just the time being. But to the south, I don't see much of a tornado threat in the immediate future. We're still locked in the storm south of Gwynn. It looks the most impressive right now, but it's not doing much. And then we still are waiting the full initiation of our storms in north central Wisconsin. I mean, that pretty sums up what we've got on our hands at this very moment. they just dropped the full severe thunderstorm warning on the west side of the MCS. We still have one up for Iowa, though. We do have that tornado warning. I believe that's a new tornado warning for Garden City, Roland, McAllisburg, Ziering, and Story City, as well as Randall. Radar indicated rotation. And let's see. 2-inch hail still expected with that. Vincent, did you move to New York? No, I've actually lived here my entire life. My dad has also lived in New York his entire life, but my mom is from California. So that's kind of the whole situation with our family. Um, but yeah, this cell looks very, very concerning here, Randall. Still likely producing large hail as well. Let's go back to our vertically integrated liquid signature. Yeah, we still have pretty maxed out signature there. I guess on weather front it goes up to 75, 79.5 kilograms per meter squared. Um, Going back to our storms that are failing at this point to initiate in Wisconsin, I mean, John's on them right now. Uh, we're gonna look at them again. Again, that just doesn't look impressive, man. Um, we could look at our observations. Our cape, we have plenty of instability, so there's really no, unless there's a lack of forcing, we really should not have a problem with these storms firing. We still have 45 to 4,700 joules per kilogram. That is plenty for storms to fire. So it's kind of insane to me how they haven't done much. I mean, in the past, like, look at that, guys. They're just like kind of sitting out there, not doing much. But to the north, I mean, these storms are going berserk. And this one up here continues to show signs of rotation. It's still tornado warning, but we've got a very nasty hook echo developing on that one. Um, let's see. New severe thunderstorm warning for Perkins, Brampton, and Cornell in the UP of Michigan. Wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour and 1.5-inch diameter hail. For some reason, I thought you lived in Colorado. My bad. I think you're probably mixing me up with Mr. Twister. That would be Chase. He lives in Colorado. Um, Vincent, did you get the PayPal? I got your first and second. Oh, um, I have two Michaels. I have Michael Atria and Michael Reagan. I think that's I think that's you, Alan. Or oh, Michael 808. Oh my goodness. Sorry about that. W Michael 808A for the I think $50 donation. I seriously appreciate that. Oh my goodness. There's two Michaels, so I mixed you up with a different one. But I seriously appreciate that. Spam those W Michaels in the chat. Thank you so much, Michael 808A. That is a insane amount of support. I genuinely appreciate that a lot. Again, that's gonna help me be able to get my new monitor that I need for our streams. So, big time donation. Thank you so much. So we don't have any observed water spouts with our storms moving off of the Marquette area. Still watching our storms that are trying to initiate near John. Again, they're failing as of right now, which makes no sense to me as of right now, but okay, if you guys haven't already, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. Make sure you share the stream with anyone that needs it. Again, as today could still be a pretty significant day for severe weather. Still watching this tornado warning storm. It's extremely dangerous near Randolph, Story City, and Roland in Iowa. Not doing anything crazy at the very moment, but it's definitely still worth watching. Alright. We do have a new mesoscale discussion. I don't think that's new. Okay, I think this is the old one. Corridor of enhanced severe wind potential. A few tornadoes and isolated occurrences of large hail are expected, or possible. So, same thing. I had mesoanalysis up. I think we're gonna have to go back here. I want to take a look at mesoanalysis, just so we can get an idea of what our environment's looking like. So, right now, let's look at our STP. So, effectively, our STP is at 8. Or excuse me, that's 9 in central Iowa. That is from our supercell out there that is, been tornadic for quite some time at this point. But if we look also in the UP of Michigan, we're up to about 4 on there, so definitely elevated STP. If we look at our fixed layer, it's about a 4 on both sides. Thermodynamics, service-based cape. Again, we have my goodness, we have 3,500 to 4,000 joules per kilogram of cape where our storms are trying to initiate. I really don't know why that's not happening as quick as it should be, but there's that. And then we have 6,000 cape in Iowa, which has led to our storms exploding in intensity. I mean, it's a weird setup for sure. Again, we should have enough forcing for storms of fire too, so I'm not saying it's too late, but it's definitely a lot later than we thought. Um, Look at our SRH. We have about 200 to 400 SRH in Iowa, UP and Michigan 400. We actually have a really primed environment out ahead of the storms in the UP. We actually have 400 meters squared per second squared of SRH out there. That is not good, again, considering that these storms are moving right into that kind of region. So if you're trying to avoid a tornado threat, good luck with that. We do have a 2-inch hail report near Ellsworth. Let's see. Still have observed 2-inch hail, obviously, with that hail report. How's the smoke air quality? Know some people in Canada, not too good. Yeah, Canada's still dealing with a lot of that air quality and smoke. And it still could be hazy in some of these folks out here in the UP of Michigan, Wisconsin, those northern areas. But it is a beautiful day out here on Long Island. It is There's no smoke. Let's look at our observations. Okay, so yeah, still some light smoke out there in portions of the UP of Michigan, Minnesota, maybe in portions of northern Wisconsin, but it really looks like the worst of the smoke has passed us for now. But it looks like this new, like, little wispy looking band or whatever, this smoke plume, is going to be drifting south with the new trough that's bringing our severe weather, a little jet streak. That's what's carrying the smoke. So air quality right now, it's not the best because of the lingering smoke that we had earlier in last week, but it's definitely improved a lot. And today was the first real day where we had, pretty clear skies. At that point last week, I mean, I hadn't seen the sun for a full day, I think, at one point. It was that bad. So, wild stuff. Some of the thickest smoke I've seen, at least living here, ever. We did get a news for thunderstorm warning for North English, Williamsburg, Cedar Rapids, Mount Vernon, Clarence, Tipton, Iowa City, and Oxford, as well as West Liberty in Iowa. This is going to be for 70-mile-an-hour winds. Those are observed, and penny-sized hail. So get indoors and away from windows if you're in the warning area. Again, we're talking about 60 to 70-mile-an-hour winds um, observed there. Yeah, a lot of NWS confirmed. Received report via social media of tree damage around 199th and L Avenue near Dike, Iowa. Um, and medium-sized tree down. So we have a couple trees down out there in the Waterloo area. We no longer have a tornado warning on our storm in the UP of Michigan, so that's good. Not really posing a huge tornado threat at this moment, so we'll kind of have to see what that does, what it tries to do. We still have smoke here. Yeah, there's still a little bit of smoke lingering in the upper Midwest. That's for sure. Again, a lot of wind with today's threat. Um, but the tornado threat is, to be honest, it's starting to decrease. It's looking a lot less significant, to be honest with you guys. Again, this blip here, it's still trying to do something. We'll check in John's stream. Again, you can kind of see some low top cells trying to develop, but they really aren't doing much. I mean, look at this, guys. I don't know how many frames this is. Um, this is 3 hours worth of radar coverage, and so these storms popped up at around 4:50. So they've been up for a good hour and a half, and they've just done nothing. I mean, it looks like the cell is going to start to increase in intensity near Merrill, but they really haven't done much. We do need to watch, though, this incredibly dangerous supercell that continues. with likely a strong mesocyclone east of Felch in the UP of Michigan. It's still got some upper level spin rotation, but it's not tornado orange right now. So, interested to see what it tries to do, what it continues to do over the next couple minutes. At this point, I believe we have been live for over an hour. Probably well over an hour at this point, I'm assuming. I have photos of the smoke last year. The sky was brown. We're lucky not to have this any year. Yeah, the skies did turn a little bit brown and orange here. But it was not nearly as bad as 2023. Then I guess you guys had it bad last year. But it was more 2023 for us. Wow, we have a whoa. Okay, so we have a very localized looking water spout. Oh my goodness, very strong water spouts off the coast of Marquette. Look at these two. This was just about 8 minutes ago or something like that. Two very strong water spouts off the coast of Marquette and Harvey. These are with those storms that just got onto the water and are still producing water spouts there. That one over here looks very strong. Gate here with that is, I guess, not crazy looking, but I mean, wow, twin water spouts. That's really cool, but pretty dangerous too. So they'll probably push whatever warning they have to. I've never seen an observed water spout tag. Maybe they will go out with that. Um, we do have a second tornado report from our storm that previously put a tornado on the ground. Reports of a tornado on the ground. Not much with that. Well, we have confirmation that in this little part of Iowa, our dew point has surpassed 80 degrees. Which is just insane. That's how moist the atmosphere is in this kind of region. It's ridiculous. I believe we got a new tornado warning. Yeah, new tornado warning. This is for Rock River and Harvey. Oh my goodness, our water spouts are actually about to move on land. Holy crap. That is a borderline intense to violent water spout. That's literally like a mile or two off the coast here. That is insane. Uh, so we have a tornado warning here. It's radar indicated, but we have a huge water spout, very strong water spout that's about to literally make landfall on Onata, Michigan. That is ridiculous. That is insane. So if you're in this area, you need to seek shelter immediately. Look at that reflectivity presentation, guys. That is ridiculous. So once again, if you're in this area, you gotta seek shelter immediately. That is not good. So if you're in Onada and Rock River, you need to get indoors and away from windows in an interior room. As this water spout is about to literally make landfall. This is actually insane. We're gonna do the double screen. There's our velocity signature. My goodness, guys. So hopefully this doesn't cause too much damage as it comes on shore, but that is just a insane signature there. And again, they should push this to observed, in my opinion. I mean, it's interesting. Water spouts can do interesting things while interacting with land. By the way, our tornado warn supercell back near Rock is also starting to get its act together. Look at that inflow notch that's developing as well. That's not at all what you want to see. So again, a lot of things happening at once. But yeah, still a very strong water spout. We actually, oh my goodness, we have another area of circulation, potentially a tornado trying to get going here. We have twin tornadoes. One of them's a water spout, and one of them is a possible tornado. Our water spout is about to, literally as we speak, is moving on land, and our tornado is potentially on the ground here. It's actually got a backwards hook. This is ridiculous, guys. I mean, that's a wild loop. Uh, I have to make this our reflectivity. I mean, that is insane, guys. You do not see that every day, I'll be honest with you. Alright, we're gonna go spectrum width on this. I mean, that is one heck of a signature. Look at that. Let's look at the environment in front of this. Wow, yeah, this is screaming low-level rotation. That's just amazing. Again, we have potentially two strong circulations, whatever you want to call it. One of them water spout, one of them tornado. Um, that is insane. Hopefully it saves. Yes. Okay. We're gonna just have to do the one. Sorry, I'm kind of jumping around, but yeah, this is our water spout here. You can see on the spectrum width again. This is your inflow notch, and boom, water spout. That is just insane. Let's get our velocities. Again, this is our possible tornado. Not sold yet on if it's on the ground, but they should definitely push Soaring to observe because we have that water spout. It's crazy. The special marine warning is it says possible, and the tornado warning says radar indicated. They updated the special marine warning. Let's see if they issued any put any new wording out there. So yeah, that should be where our water spout is. Yep, it is. And this is our circulation to the south there. So again, twin circulations. Um, impacting the UP of Michigan here. I mean, it's a good thing it's not a very populated area, but if you're in Onada, you've got two areas of circulation coming your way. The one to the south looks a lot more outflow dominant, which could end up being a good thing here, but again, just a huge punch of outflow winds, and then you've got your water spout and your possible tornado. That is insane. Um, wow. Again, we're waiting a next scan here, but I am pretty concerned about what happens with that water spout. Again, we take it a couple scans back, and that thing just came together, and you could say it became violent at one point. You have 123 against 84 there, or I guess you should say 123 against like 32. I mean, you had gauge your will over 100 miles per hour. You had 100 miles per hour going one way on Pixel there. Uh, we're about 4 minutes away, or okay. We should just get a new scout. Oh wow, yeah. Look at that hook echo. Inflow notch developing there. That's on your tornadic circulation. Um, that's not what the water spout. Okay, so thankfully it looks like the water spout actually is dissipated. Um, unless, okay, so this is it. So as soon as it makes kind of landfall on the beach, you could say, it weakens out. So, um, our water spout threat I'm not as worried about. However, we did have that circulation that developed over land. That wasn't just some water spout that came over. That completely developed over land. So, very intrigued to see if we're gonna get any videos or stuff like that from out in this region, in that area. Back down to our tornado warning storm, also in the UP. Again, it's continued to show signs of strengthening an organization near Rock. However, it still doesn't have a imminent tornado threat, in my opinion. And we now have a destructive severe warning in Iowa. They have just made the warning tag for hail destructive here, so we now have baseball size hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds near Zeering, Clemens, and State Corner, as well as Colo in Iowa. So you got to get indoors and away from windows immediately. And that gust front, guys, that is insane. Unless that's the outflow boundary, that's wild. Um, we actually have another storm developing off the outflow boundary. Look at that. More storms firing too. So I guess that would be a gust front. Alright, I'm gonna run upstairs real fast. Supposedly there's food waiting for me. I probably will have to mute when I'm chewing. Just so it doesn't become an annoyance. I'm not gonna, like, make annoying noises into the mic, if you know what I'm saying. But thank you for covering these storms. Of course, Lisa. But it's good to see you. All right, I'll be right back, guys. I'm gonna leave the radar up. I just gotta grab some dinner. I'm gonna bring it down. Alrighty, chat. I'm back. Sorry about that. Sorry to hear you're struggling, Diane. I will keep you in my prayers for whatever inconvenience that may be. Um, Sorry to hear that. Going back to our tornado warning or zeroing, still radar indicated again. The storm is still producing baseball-sized hail, and that is observed. There's that report near Story City. Baseball-sized hail observed. No problem, Diane. We just got an update on our tornado warning near Rock, or they might have just issued a new one. But still radar indicator rotation and quarter size hail. Perkins and Brampton, as well as Cornell, are all in the path. Still broad rotation here. Luckily, it's not tightening or anything, but seek shelter immediately. Um, Again, not much happening at this very moment. We still have that tornado warning in Iowa. It expires in 6 minutes, and they probably will let that expire. We can take a look at the cell again. There really isn't any serious rotation evident. I mean, we do have still that hook echo approaching Colo. It still looks pretty crazy. So that's the one thing I would be a little bit cautious about. But we also have a couple new cells developing, so we're gonna have to stay on to see what these do. But again, we don't have much going on for the time being, so we can kind of relax here and not have to worry about too much. until things potentially pick up again. Um, um, again, I apologize that the stream's been a little bit boring in the past couple minutes. I mean, we do have a destructive, and we do have a tornado warning at the same time, so you'd think it's going to be a little bit more active, but I don't know. We just don't have much going on. I think the hail threat is significantly decreasing on our Iowa storm. I would doubt so much that we have baseball-sized hail falling. I mean, this is right around when we got that baseball-sized hail report, and this is what the storm looks like now. Again, our DBZ values are greatly falling off. We're gonna have to watch this little cluster up towards the north here for any rotation. So we'll be watching that. Um, excuse me. And we still have this tornado warning out here in Michigan, as well as the one to the north. But let me know where you guys are tuning in from. Again, we could also do a little breakdown of tomorrow, if you guys want. See, the 18ZH is out. I think I looked at this. I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, that just looks pretty crazy for New England there. I mean, that's right on my doorstep. So if you're out there, please make sure you're staying safe and all that. 21Z is loading tomorrow. Again, it starts out with a pretty nasty windbag out in the Cleveland area. So we'll be watching that as well. Also, the flash flooding threat. That's another thing we need to discuss. If you look at our total kind of rainfall totals here, portions of Virginia, Delmarva, the Mid-Atlantic, we're talking about anywhere from really 2 to 5 inches of rain that could fall, especially like southern Maryland, portions of southeast Virginia. Look at northern Kentucky here. I forgot who was watching from, the Louisville area. But if you're east of there, we are watching for potentially. I mean, the HRRR is going for 11 inches of rain, almost a foot of rainfall south of Cincinnati. Do I think that's gonna do I think that's gonna happen? Probably not. But yes, a lot of rain's coming down. Also, New York City going for 2 to 4 inches of rain, and north and west of the city, we're going for even more rainfall up there. So a lot of rain is expected. Our PWatts, though, are going to be off the charts. Again, we're talking about PWatts of 2.3 inches out in Illinois and also into portions of southern New England. Again, I mean, the PWatts are just ridiculous. What you eating? Going to make lunch soon? I am having mac and cheese made by my mom. Like, I'm pretty sure all that happened is she texted me during the live stream. She goes like, "Yeah, there's food left out. Um, you can have it now if you want before it gets cold." So, kind of figured might take a little lunch or dinner break, I should say. And then our cold front moves through, and we're back to dry, normal air. I mean, they really have to downgrade that severe warning in my opinion, and the tornado warning is going to expire in 1 minute. Soon we will only have 2 tornado warnings. We still have this one for Cornell that's going to be in effect for the next 15 minutes. And the one to the north is going to be in effect for the next 15 minutes as well. So, if all goes well, in 15 minutes, we will no longer have a destructive, most likely. Probably, I'm hoping. We won't have a destructive, and we also won't have any tornado warnings. So, we'll see what happens. Not so certain that that's going to be the case once we get there, but we'll see. If you guys haven't already, please do hit that like, subscribe button. Also, consider leaving a donation. Donations are greatly appreciated, however, are not mandatory. We're at to 1,711 subscribers, so I appreciate that a lot. For those of you that have tuned in to the live stream. Back up to our storms near Marquette. Again, these did they did produce those interesting water spouts. We have some broad rotation, maybe. South of Onada, this is kind of a part of that same region of the storm. Take it back a couple scans here. I mean, it looks like it's just kind of doing its thing out there. We'll have to see what it does on the next scan. We can't really say much. We don't have enough to say that. Do we have an update on our SBC outlook? We do not. Still a 10 hatched, which, wow, that's astonishing. I mean, this is the 10 hatched. This is like the bulk of the 10 hatched, and this is what we have right now. Okay, let's look at the HRRR. I'm interested. Because you've got these showers, and it still thinks that by 8 p.m. these are going to develop into thunderstorms. So, we will see. I don't know how, confident I am in that happening. It's gonna be a wild card, guys. That's for sure. I think we just need enough of like forcing factor for these storms to be able to do that. And I don't know, cuz this is the full like look at what we have now, and it is not by any means impressive. Um Again, I still don't know why we have a destructive. It's it's very confusing to me how that's even possible that we would have baseball size hail with that. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but we haven't got any hail reports in the past couple minutes. I mean, we really don't have much coming out of that right now. We do have storms that have initiated to the north here, producing a lot of lightning. Maybe some broad rotation, probably not, but maybe near Jewel. We'll have to see. Probably not, though. And then nothing much going on to the north. Um, again, it's not certain that we're gonna see the storms develop. Again, I really don't have a definitive answer. I would lean no, just because they're not doing anything now. But the HRRR still wants them to grow upscale at least, and potentially be able to produce tornadoes down the line. But I really don't have very high confidence in that. Let's look at John again. At this point, the highest DBZ value we can get is 63, and we have a destructive on that storm. Again, not trying to critique the NWS for anything. Sorry about that. But like, I don't know. I just think that you should probably downgrade the warning before going just to, being lazy. Like again, I don't want to call them lazy, but they're not really doing anything with this warning. It's got 23 minutes to expire, so they pretty much have to downgrade it, or we're gonna have like 40 DBZs. Not 40, but we're gonna have like 50 DBZ, and it's gonna be destructive. Um, but yeah, tomorrow's threat definitely looking pretty crazy again for not only wind but also tornadoes. Again, there's a chance we get some prefrontal action. Maybe just a linear threat, but overall, big day ahead tomorrow. Again, tomorrow's coverage may be we may cover tomorrow. We'll see. We do have some rotation trying to get going near Perkins. It does line up with reflectivity, so we'll have to watch this pretty closely. But we do have a nice little notch trying to develop with fairly strong rotation evident. We can check the upper levels via the we'll do the Gaylord radar site. Okay, that's way too far. I don't even know what we're gonna have to use. I guess we'll use the Green Bay radar. Yeah, you can see strong rotation in the upper levels there. If you guys haven't already, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. Again, we're at, I believe, 1.71k, which specifically would be 1,711 subscribers, so make sure you do hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. I mean, it's just, yeah, I'm sorry I keep saying this, but I swear it's like the most ridiculous looking destructive ever. Okay, there we go. They finally, I guess they just reissued the warning. Maybe they, yeah, or they condensed it and updated it. But this is now down to a regular 60-mile-an-hour, ping pong ball size hail severe warning. So we got the destructive part. We have to get the tornado warning part. By like 7:05. Still have 5 people in the stream, actually 6 people. So for those of you that have stayed for the entire thing, I genuinely appreciate it. But this is our velocity couplet. that's going to be approaching Brampton and Rapid River, Michigan. So seek shelter immediately if you're in this area. This is sliding south of Perkins, going towards Einstein, maybe Ensign. Not sure how you say that. It might be Ensign. Um, Probably don't have a CC drop. Yeah, no CC drop, so no debris signature or anything, but this definitely is definitely has potential. Alright, well, our storm near White Lake looks like it is finally, like, fully initiating. It's kind of turned into a sloppy mess of showers. So, it's still kind of up in the air as for if this is going to turn into, like, a real event or not. I mean, I guess we do have actually a couple cells popping up here that were not there, so, yeah, I think initiation is ongoing. I think our storms are actually starting to fire out here in north central Wisconsin. So if this does occur here, we are going to end up seeing the beginning of our possible severe weather outbreak. I mean, not possible, but I would say more possible tornado outbreak. Not saying that it's likely, I'm saying it's possible. You never know for sure what's going to happen. Alright, thank you so much for tuning in, Michael. It was good to see you on the stream. Again, it looks like these are the cells that we have to watch for the next couple hours. Again, I was kind of, I'm not like I don't want to say this, but I was kind of hoping that we were gonna be able to end off stream because again, you don't want tornadoes. But it looks like we are gonna have to continue streaming with those storms developing. We do have a tightening circulation south of Perkins. This is something I need to kind of address here near Brampton as well. So we'll see what this does before it goes onto the lake here. But that's kind of the trajectory of the rotation there. I believe we got a new tornado warning for Munsing, Chatham, and Rock River, as well as Autrain and Christmas in the UP of Michigan. Radar indicator rotation, and I don't know if that's half dollar size hail. 1.5 inch hail. Ping pong ball. I thought ping pong ball was 1.75. Gosh, dude, I need to get that straight in my head. I know tennis ball is 2 inches. Man, this is bad. You can tell I've been using Radar Omega way too much. I got rid of it though. Switched to Weatherfront. Now I have to retrain myself to know what each hail size means. Like, I know 3 inches is grapefruit. and then I think they go to large apple, or no, large apple is 3 inches, and then 4 inches is softball, five is DVD. I've only seen the DVD tag like a handful of times, like maybe once or twice. Again, I apologize for the kind of low level of commentary. There's just not a ton that's happening right now. Everyone always said Radar Mega was awesome. Why is everyone switching? Well, here's the deal. There's a big problem, I think, where Raider Omega, this is allegedly, this is not confirmed, but from a chaser, I believe on Twitter, I forgot who it was. Someone said that Radar Omega was not paying their chasers, and that every time their paycheck was like due, they just would keep delaying it, and they just like never paid them. So that happened. Also, for me, the warning alert sound was glitching terribly, so that didn't work. Radar would glitch terribly. The app would shut down. It was very sluggish. It just was not clean, and just nothing was going right. So I was pretty tired of it. I wasn't gonna give up on it until Weatherfront happened. So I knew Weatherfront was on mobile, because I kind of learned about them at Summit, and I started using them on mobile. But they recently they did release their desktop version, and it is amazing. It's great, and I decided that, I mean, it's just so much more worth having Weatherfront, where I also was able to get a discounted. I was able to get the premium subscription to Weatherfront for 3 months free, because I was attending the National Storm Chaser Summit because they were presenting there. They're one of the title sponsors. So, or I wouldn't say title sponsor. I guess title sponsor might be the like actual title sponsor. Anyways, they were one of the sponsors there. So, because I had 3 months of premium free, I just figured try it out, see if it works, and sure enough, it's worked great. So, not to diss on Radar Omega. Radar Omega is still pretty good, and it was great for me. I loved using it. I think it's really good for like a beginner. And even Weatherfront's more of a beginner thing. I mean, there's kind of different ways you can look at it, but you know what I'm saying. But tight rotation continues north of Brampton and Rapid River. That's great to hear. Yeah, I mean it's worked out pretty well for me. 21 continues for Munsing, Michigan. Again, the one thing I wish they did was add alert sounds. I mean, that would make it like above and beyond. That would be incredible if they could do that. I think they've got a lot of ideas still in the works. I don't know if they did release Android yet, but they're like about to release Android. I think they someone said that they're like going through, like they have to get confirmation from like the Play Store app or something that they can like be an app or something. It's something like that. They need like validation from the Play Store thing to like be able to be an app for download, but it's basically out. It's like gonna be out. I think honestly, I would not be shocked if it comes out this week, next week, or soon. But we'll see. Going back to John's feed, he's in Antigo, Wisconsin. Radar Omega was being sued by Radarscope. Yeah, there was like a lawsuit or something. And there was something with Weatherwise that happened too, I think. I don't know. I forgot what like it's called, but also people really do prefer the cyclone ports still. That's a really good thing. It's a bunch of cameras that are randomly located across the United States. There's a lot of them. The coverage isn't amazing because there's some spots where a lot of severe storms happen and we just don't have any. Like for instance, I think Georgia by far has the most. There's tons of cyclone ports in Georgia. That's got to be where like the cyclone port like factory, or not factory, but like I'm saying, the headquarters is located. But it's a bunch of weather cameras that they have across the United States. They have a lot of the chasers, obviously. Um, they have the alert sounds, which have been bugging. That's why I kind of left them, and stuff like that. So it's still a really solid app, and there's a lot of understandable reasons why people still like it. But for me, it's just more practical to use Weatherfront. We do have a new MD. They just say increasing tornado threat. Severe wind gusts is expected to spread southeast of the watch area within the next hour, requiring an additional watch. So we are going to get an additional likely severe thunderstorm watch. If you're still in the stream, Alan, we've got this is including your area, I believe. I don't know if that is including exactly you, but that does regard your severe threat. Severe warning still up for Iowa City. We still do have that severe warning for Story City. I don't believe. Yeah, this is not. They actually do have a rotation. Mike Mars is reporting a rotating wall cloud 1.5 miles northwest of him. That was about 10 minutes ago, so it is an old report, but we do have what seems to be a broad circulation trying to developing. Apparently, we had a wall cloud on this already, but big time outflow winds coming in there with a little bit of an inflow notch trying to develop as well. So that is something we need to continue to watch for in the past or in the next couple of minutes. But new severe thunderstorm warning. This is for Ames, Gilbert, Roland, McAllisburg, and Zering, as well as Nevada, for 60-mile-an-hour winds, and let's see, that's gonna be ping pong ball size hail. Started raining. Um. Oh, I guess you do have some prefrontal storms, or maybe that's no, that is actually part of the line. So interesting. I guess that is the storm that you're getting now. So it looks very, very weak, Alan. So you're gonna be just fine. Didn't even realize already got there, but it's completely sub-severe. It's not looking like anything crazy or something like that. Again, our Iowa threat, I'm really not too worried about. We'll have to watch this little supercell near Story City and Roland, but I don't think it's gonna have a huge tornado potential. It's very outflow dominant. So there's that. We have our storms that are initiating Wisconsin. We're gonna need something crazy to happen with these to be able to get, a substantial tornado threat. Again, you can see on satellite. I mean, we do have this one to the north here that is actually becoming a bit more noticeable near White Lake. Maybe the one off to the west there, but again, none of these look pretty crazy. Just fine works for me. Yep, that's what we want to hear. But yeah, you can see our storms exploded in the north. I mean, look how cool these storm tops are. I mean, we're getting down to negative 70 degrees Fahrenheit, or excuse me, Celsius, with those cloud tops up towards Des Moines. Going back to Marquette here, if we look at our velocity couplet, it looks like we still do have maybe some broad rotation near Munising, but nothing crazy. Nothing we need to be super worried about. That warning does expire. Does take quite some time to expire. Your new setup is really nice. Yes, I love my new setup as well. But that's all thanks to you and Andrew and anyone that's ever donated, because did not come cheap, to say the least. Say that much. Again, probably not going to be here for too much longer. I really don't see us having a major tornado threat play out tonight unless these storms do it. I think I'm probably gonna end off the stream. Again, I'm gonna be pretty sad if these storms end up producing like strong tornadoes or noticeable tornadoes, and I have to abandon the stream. But I will be honest with you guys, I really don't expect them to do much. So, if you're under the severe threat, it's going to continue in Iowa and Illinois before these storms diminish. That supercell out here still is producing pretty large hail, so we're going to have to watch out for that in the evening hours. Still have tornadic supercells in the UP. They are likely going to be moving offshore, or at least fizzling out before producing a huge tornado threat like they did in the Marquette area. But that's that for that. I think I used like that 4 times. But the big thing I'm a little worried about is these storms that are initiating in central Wisconsin. They are in a pretty supportive environment, but I'm not so confident in what they're gonna do. So again, if like needed, like if we are desperately needed, I will come back for a second live stream. If we have like a PDS, a strong tornado, a debris signature, something like that, I will come back. But I think it's safe for us to end off the live stream. So again, thank you all for tuning in. It's been a very, very successful live stream. We earned enough money, saved up enough money for that second monitor, so it's gonna be easier to change stuff and kind of tweak the streams during the streams, if that makes sense. But that's gonna be it for the stream. So thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe button, and I'll see you guys.